Welcome to the Pharos Fit podcast, where we help you to explore your capacity to move better, push further, and achieve your limitless potential through fitness, nutrition, recovery, and lifestyle. Hey guys, welcome back to the Pharos Fit podcast. Great to be back with you guys. It's been a little moment. Hey Brandon, how you doing?
Good. Happy New Year, Pete.
Happy New Year to you, my friend.
It's been that long.
Yeah. It's just me and Brandon here today. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Anna Maguire, who is competing in the Waterpalooza right now. She's over there dominating, giving everything she can. She's on a team, a female team. I've been watching a little bit of it when I get a moment, and looks like a great event. Looks like a great atmosphere. Looks like people are like just there having a good time, doing the fitness thing and enjoying themselves, which is great to see, especially after the last couple of years when that hasn't been able to happen, and people it got cancelled last year, and a lot of these people like Anna spend their whole lives basically training for events like that, and when they don't happen, it's a big blow. So it's good to see everyone back, good to see everyone enjoying themselves, and we all wish her the best, and we're all cheering her on from afar. So good luck, Anna. It is the end of the first week of the Limitless Challenge, day 5. It is Friday today on the recording of this podcast. And I wanted to just go over a few things. I've got kind of 10 points here as kind of like 10 things that will help you navigate the challenge and indeed navigate any kind of transformation that you're doing. I know a lot of people are doing some kind of transformation in the new year. So I want to go over some points that I think may be of help to you. When you start something like this, I think you get into it and certain things come up as you're going that maybe you didn't anticipate and maybe that cause you concern or cause you worry. So I want to make sure that as you're going through the challenge, that you're not overwhelmed, that you're not dismayed by any kind of failures or any hurdles seem too big for you, and kind of go through some points which I think may be of help. My first one, and I know a lot of people experience this, is that it's hard to get enough protein. When we sit down with our coaches and we go through our nutritional profile and we work out what our protein number should be, when you first get it, it's just a number and you don't really have any awareness yet of what that number really means. But as you start calculating, as you start going through your day and trying to hit your protein goal, I think a lot of us realize that it's hard. It's hard to get enough protein, and we've been kind of conditioned through marketing and convenience to eat a lot of carbs and eat a lot of sugar because a lot of it's cheap. It's easy to buy cheap carbs, cheap sugar, and that kind of stuff. And we've gotten away a lot of the time from eating quality protein, which gives us, that nutritional density that's so vital for our skeletal muscle mass and our health. So first of all, it's not just you. If you're not getting your protein quite right yet, if you're not getting the levels that you are aiming for, don't panic. Remember, the most important thing is that you are working towards that higher number. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to adjust, and it takes some planning, it takes some purchasing, it takes some cooking probably, and it takes some helpful suggestions perhaps. The thing with protein is we all know our kind of protein sources, our good protein sources. So our lean meats and our fish, maybe some dairy, maybe some whey, maybe some nuts. It takes organization and it takes planning to get quality proteins. Often you can't just it's easy to reach and grab for carbohydrates. It's not so easy to reach and grab for proteins. Now it can be done. Obviously we can have protein snacks. Things like cottage cheese are really helpful. Things like quark or Greek yogurt or like I just mentioned before, some nuts can be high in protein. Maybe we reach for a protein bar or a protein shake or something like that. But we always want to make our focus about natural good sources of protein. And that, of course, means essentially meat and fish. And if we're going to do the meat and fish thing, unless we're vegan, of course, there are other vegan options available. If we're going to do the meat and fish thing, it takes some organization, it takes some planning, it takes some shopping. it takes some preparation. So we need to make sure we've got the sources available to us that we need. We can't leave it to the last minute to suddenly think, oh, I need 8 ounces or 6 ounces of protein, whatever it is, if I don't have it in the house. Because the chances are, if you don't have it, you're gonna reach for whatever you have got, which is likely to be carbohydrate based, which is usually going to mean you're going to be too high in sugars and too low in proteins for your daily macronutrient profile to work out. So you have to be organized with your proteins. Make sure you've got them available. As you guys know, I do the richest grass-fed thing, so I always I have a box from them, and I always have that meat available. I also shop from other farms and get various meats in. I eat a lot of steak. I also enjoy liver, offal, things like that. A lot of eggs. Enjoy eggs. A lot of egg whites.
But I think, like you said, that people shouldn't be let down if they don't hit the protein goal. It's very hard to organize.
It's hard to organize, and it's especially if you're over 200 pounds. Once you start getting over the 200 grams of protein mark, it gets difficult. It gets tricky to get enough protein in. And a lot of people feel full because protein is very satiating. And that's the great thing about it. It's actually hard for your body to break down proteins. The thermogenic effect of protein is higher than it is of carbs and fats. So your body has to work a lot harder to break down proteins. So it can be hard to get that number up. And it's hard sometimes because you don't have the appetite. When you eat carbohydrates and you eat sugar, it increases your appetite. It's moreish. It's easier to just eat more and more and more and more and more. We all know, like, you got a box of Pringles, you start eating those Pringles, you can eat 2 boxes of them, no problem. Because
it's in the marketing of it. Once you pop,
once you pop, yeah. But it's different with quality foods and quality meats. It's not so easy. It's not so addictive, which is obviously the great thing about it. It's not full of addictive things. It's harder to eat. It's harder to digest. It's more hassle to cook. So it does take a little bit more organization, a little bit more planning, and a little bit more kind of patience with it. So make sure you've got the stuff in the house that you want. Make sure you do your shopping. Make sure you're shopping from good sources. Like I say, I love shopping local, shopping from farms and places like that. Trying to steer clear of the kind of the supermarket meat that can be of lower quality. Steering free of like caged hen eggs and things like that. I love duck eggs from the farm. I love chicken eggs from the farm. Anything that comes from a good source where those animals are grazing freely on good things is going to be of greater benefit to you. So having plenty of those around the house so that you can cook easily. The reality is, once you get into the habit of it and the habit of cooking, it's not that difficult and it doesn't take that long to cook very, very simple meals. Like, if I do a lot of my meat on the Traeger. When you have a steak on the Traeger, it's 10 minutes and your meat's ready. Obviously, eggs are very quick to cook. So
depending on how well you cook your steak too, it should only take maybe 6-8 minutes on the low end. So
right.
Even if you're cooking on the stove in a pan, it's still going to come out pretty nice. And some olive oil, butter, and rosemary, salt. That's all you need.
You don't need a lot. It doesn't take that much time. It just takes a little bit of commitment. I mean, we had our kickoff kind of launch discussion with the challenges. And one of the things I mentioned was, when I first came to America, one of the things I really noticed was people tend to cook a lot less here than they do in Europe. In Europe, eating out or getting takeaway was, a luxury. You would do it like once every 2 weeks, maybe. It was, especially where I was from, where it was fairly remote. You didn't have access to like takeaway stuff so much. So, we were cooking a lot. We were buying a lot of fresh ingredients. Not to say that every meal was like a great meal, but it was at least real. It was at least real food. And when I came here, I was kind of shocked at the amount of meals that were either takeaway or bought out or fast food or that kind of stuff. And I think I would like to think that as people go through this challenge, they cook more and more and they eat out less and less. If you eat out all the time, it's really hard to know what's really in that food and what the food's being cooked in and so forth. Not that I don't want people to ever eat out. I don't expect anybody to be a hermit and I remember the famous stories about Madonna like taking her own food to restaurants in a little bag and then putting it on a plate while she's in the restaurant.
Really?
I don't I don't want.
How long ago was that?
Oh, God, I heard stories of this probably 20 years ago. But
oh man, that's funny.
Who knows whether it's true or not? But I can definitely see it. But yeah, so try and get in the habit of cooking and preparing your own meals. That way, you know exactly what's in it. You know what it was cooked in. You know where it came from. You know the source of it and all that kind of jazz. And if you are going out to restaurants, go in with a plan. Go in kind of already knowing what you're going to order. Usually that's going to be like a good source of chicken or a good source of meat or a good source of fish with some vegetables and that.
And restaurants have been a lot more, suiting towards having like a very more simple generic order plan.
Here's the good thing about America is you can order whatever you want and they'll make it. Like it's not so like if you go to a restaurant in France and you say...
I know, I'm laughing because I know.
Right, right? You say like, I would want this, but I don't want it with that, and I don't want it with this, and I want it with that. They would tell you to fuck off in French. Whereas here, restaurants will pretty much do whatever you want. So if you want a steak, but you don't want this and you do want that, they're very accommodating here. It's a service with a smile. So you can always ask for what you want as opposed to just feeling restricted by the things that you see on the menu and often the sides that go with the thing. You can always replace those sides with a healthier option. So go in with a plan. Think about what you're going to order before you get there, and just be smart with it. I think the reality is most of us are actually very aware with what we should order and what is good for us, but we get somewhat derailed by convenience, excuse. It's not my fault that they didn't have this, they didn't have that. We just have to be organized and go into these things with a degree of control and a degree of intelligence. I think it's an easy scapegoat to say, I didn't know, I wasn't aware. It's like most of the time we are aware, and most of the time we do know. So just be smart with it. Next point, hunger is dehydration in disguise. Many of us do not drink enough water. We think we are hungry when we are really thirsty. Our bodies are telling us to drink water, and we mistake those signals for, I'll just grab a bite to eat. I'll grab a bar. I'll grab this. I'll grab that. And often, if you were to not do that, if you were to drink more and more water, you wouldn't feel hungry, and you wouldn't have that lack of energy. It's also an energy thing. When we're dehydrated, we lack energy. We think that lack of energy is because we haven't eaten enough food, and therefore we eat more food to compensate for that lack of energy. But obviously that does not help with the hydration issue. So it can actually dehydrate you further in some cases, especially if it has salt in it. So get used to drinking more water more frequently. With the water thing, it's better to drink frequently throughout the day than to get to 6 p.m. and try and down 5 liters of water. You'll be peeing all night. So get used to drinking water on the regular, small sips every now and again. Buy a big bottle and swig away at it, or buy lots of little ones and swig away at those, whatever works better for you. But get used to drinking water more regularly. It's the best supplement you can ever have, and it's also the cheapest.
And if you want to go green, just get a big recyclable, metal one, because they insulate cold or warm very well. You can turn it into a soup jar and carry it with you. It could be a coffee thing that's very dynamic what you do, and having that really reminds you, at least for me, to get extra water.
For sure. I just bought this new one. It's like a big water container, and then inside the water container there also has a shaker bottle like inside the water container, so you can put like a shake in there. And
I need a link to that.
Yeah, I'll get you a link. Actually, I got it from I should have mentioned this in the protein thing. I do the vertical diet meals, which is essentially just bison and rice or beef and rice. Very simple. But when I got the order through, they sent me a free shaker thingy. It was pretty cool.
It's a steal.
Yeah. Drink more water. Drink water more frequently, and stay hydrated. It's amazing how much better you feel when you drink enough water. I'd say the most important thing you can do throughout this challenge. Next thing, don't overcomplicate things. The best answers usually are simple. It's easy to look for the most complicated version of the truth. Like, this isn't working me. this isn't working for me because of all these like complicated things. When you ask yourself questions and look for answers, look for the simple answers. Have a simple plan for your day. Stick to simple foods. Stick to simple drinks. So when it comes to drink, really, you've got water, you've got teas, herbal teas, you've got coffee. Beyond that, you maybe got some BCAAs. Maybe you're doing some protein shakes, but don't get exotic with your choices. The more exotic you get, the more chances are that there's going to be some hidden sugars, there's going to be some chemicals, there's going to be this, that, and the other that isn't that good for you. Same thing with food. If we try and get too exotic with our food and too fancy, there's a good chance that it's going to have stuff in there that isn't that good for us. Not to say we don't all like nice food, and it is absolutely possible to cook delicious meals with good wholesome sauces. I have some meals up here made for me by my friend Alana, who's a professional chef, and she does wonders with real food. I don't know how she does it, but it tastes fantastic. But the unfortunate reality is, most of the time, if we're eating like really fancy foods, there's going to be a lot of hidden sugars, often hidden fats, stuff that we don't really need in our day. Just for the sake of flavors and stuff. Also, when it comes to not overcomplicating things, simplify your day as much as possible. Don't try and do too much. Don't try and have too much in your day. Don't try and get everything done in one day. It's a 5-week challenge, and honestly, it's a 5-week challenge that leads to a year challenge. Don't try and solve every problem in your life this week. It's not going to happen. Focus on one thing, two things. Focus on simple things that make your day better, and they should be small, simple things that over the course of the weeks and months and years, the simple things accumulate into a bunch of simple things that improve the quality of your life. So always simplify, don't overcomplicate, look for simple answers, look for simple truths, and don't be tempted to look for the most outlandish, suggestions. I mean, the classic for me is, what supplements should I take on the challenge? And of course, the responding question is, well, are you doing everything else right first? Are you sleeping right? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating right? Because supplements really are such a small part of the equation. And it's often the question that people ask the most, because they want the quick fix, they want the magic pill, they want the complicated solution that's honestly way more easy than what we expect it to be. We think we are not in a physical or mental position we want to be because of we don't have the right drug for it. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, it's because we don't have the right foods in our body, we don't have the right hydration, we're not sleeping enough, we're not physical enough, and our mindset is not right. It's not the lack of a supplement or the lack of a pill that's making us feel that way. Of course, this isn't always the case. I'm just saying broadly, don't be the person that reaches for the high-end supplement to solve a problem that can be solved with basic changes, basic food, basic hydration, sleep, and lifestyle changes. Yeah,
you're going to get most of it from your diet, but there's some great ones you mentioned on the other show. The chelated magnesium at night.
For sure.
Magnesium, like protein, is a tough one to get into your everyday diet. It's tough to fit in sometimes in our American diet, at least.
Yeah,
so if you can add that in, that's
that vitamin D3, of course, because especially if you're in a climate that isn't like California. But I think even in California, when you think about vitamin D3, it's like, oh, well, I live in a sunny climate. It's like, well, yes, but how much time do you really spend with your skin exposed in that sun to absorb that vitamin D3? It's not about where you live. It's about how much time you spend with sun on your naked skin to absorb that vitamin D3. Most people are vitamin D3 deficient. And of course, this has been a huge thing with the COVID thing. People who were deficient in vitamin D3 were more likely to be to have worse symptoms when they were exposed to COVID. So I always say D3. I always say chelated magnesium, like you said. Beyond that, usually, like if people are trying to put on muscle, I'll recommend creatine. And we'll usually do some form of protein shake because, especially if your numbers are high, it's hard to get the protein numbers up.
Yeah.
But again,
when you can steal 50 grams here, like you got to take that extra 50 grams of protein.
Right.
For the shake.
But again, these are not replacements for
No.
everything else. They're just additions to that just give you that extra benefit. So simplify, and do not overcomplicate things. Next point. Live your own challenge. Do not compare. The lessons you learn will be your own. When we do something like this, it's very easy to look to the person next to us and think, well, they're not doing this. Why should I be doing this? Or they're eating that. Why can't I eat that? Well, why is this person feeling this way and I'm not feeling that way? Everyone's challenge is different. The purpose of community is not to compare yourself to the community, but to use the community to pick you up and to hold you up and to keep you accountable. We are all different human beings. We are all made of different things. We all have different genes. We all respond differently to food. We all respond differently to exercise. This challenge is about you and your body. The person next to you is there to inspire, is there to help, is there to maybe guide, maybe give you some tips, whatever. But you can't compare yourself to other people. I can't tell you how many times over the years someone's come up to me and said, "Oh, I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club," or something like that. And it's like, okay, Brad Pitt has a very different set of genes to you, has a very different body type to you. What you're saying is unrealistic and just not going to be. It's just not going to be possible. So take a step back and think, okay, rather than saying I want to be like someone else, it's more I want to be a better version of myself. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy because this is something people kind of say all the time, but it's genuinely true. It's not about being like someone else or being better than someone else. It's being better than that person you were a week ago, a year ago. The person that you've decided to move on from, or the condition you've decided to move on from, and you want to get to a better place in your mind, a better place with your body, and that only comes really from within. It does not come from comparison. It does not come from, oh, I now look better than the person next to me. So you have to really, it all starts from within. It all starts from your internal acceptance of, who you are, where you're going, who you want to be. You've got the tools to get there, and you're not falling victim to comparison. The old saying, of course, comparison is a thief of joy. It's true. We need to find joy within ourselves, within our own purpose, within our own destiny and our own needs, and make sure when you go through this challenge, you are reflecting with yourself. You are talking about how you are feeling and what you are experiencing, and not what other people are going through. So it is your own challenge, and walk your own path.
Yeah, it's kind of a play on what you said. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate compared to others. It's you who you're trying to move on or develop or grow from. Personal growth,
Well, it's, what it is, and it's hard in the fitness industry because you'll see a ton of advertisements and marketing that will be, follow my plan and you'll look like this. And of course, the picture will be of the person selling the program and they'll be in great shape. Mm-hmm. The problem is this person was probably doing a bunch of stuff you don't know about. And B, this person has a different background, a different training history, different genes. Everything about them is different to you. So you may well do exactly the same program and get completely different results because you are not the same person as that person. It's marketing, it's selling, it's getting you to invest in something that really is unattainable, specific to your body. It's wrong to think. It's wrong to say if you do this you'll look like me, because the chances are you won't. You'll look better. You will look like a better version of you, but you will not look like someone else. Exactly.
It's not you trying to be that. You have to figure out what it is you want to be and how you're going to get to that goal and what that want to look like. So, yeah, it's easy to get confused and project outward.
It is. And we live in an age of visual a visual age. There's marketing wherever we look, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TV, whether it's ads on the tube or ads on billboards, whatever it is. So, there's so many images thrown at us. It's easy to feel, insufficient or not good enough or imperfect. Obviously, not realizing that most images have been altered, filtered, and all these other things to perfect the image to sell a product, and we need to not worry about that and not take that shit seriously, and just focus on making ourselves 1% better every day. That's all we can do, and that's mentally a much better approach than I need to look like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, they're marketing you on a feeling. They're not marketing you on something to make you actually feel better.
Right. Yeah.
It's like almost a hit of dopamine or something.
Yes.
We can make you can feel this good. I want to be like that.
And I think it's fine to, we want to be inspired by people. We want to have that, like those inspirational figures. And when you look at the competition that Anna's in right now at the Waterpalooza, you have all these people who are in great shape and they're having a great time, and it's inspiring. It's like, look at all these like fit, healthy people doing great things with their fitness, and it's inspiring. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just we can't compare ourselves physically and aesthetically to someone who has a completely different background from us and a completely different set of genes. We can be inspired by these people. We can aim to. I always think it's better to emulate someone's actions and someone's sense of purpose and someone's values than it is to try and emulate someone's physical appearance.
Yeah,
like, I might not look like this person, but I'm going to work like this person. I'm going to follow their work ethic. I'm going to be inspired by their actions, and I'm going to make better actions myself, rather than thinking, I don't want to look like that. I want to look like that person.
Yeah. I think Michael Jordan, it's like, I don't want to be like that as a person, but wow, in awe, what he can do, how hard he works.
Yes.
Something to aspire for, but to be him as a person, not the best stories of him as a person individually.
Right, for sure. Right. But it's also like being inspired by people's character. Like there's a lot of people I look up to and think, like, that person holds himself very well. They're very accountable for their actions. They seem like a good person with good values, and that's the kind of person I want to be like. And I think that kind of that kind of, inspiration is fine, because all you're trying to do is like, you're looking at a set of values, you're looking at a work ethic, you're looking at actions, and you're thinking, that appeals to me, and that's the kind of person that I want to be, as opposed to thinking, just aesthetically, I want to look like that person. It's a different thing. Next point. Define your non-negotiables. So non-negotiables are really important. It helps keep us on the right road. And as it sounds, non-negotiables are the things that you can't live without. The things that have to be in your day. It's non-negotiable that this is going to happen or that this is not going to happen. So maybe your non-negotiable is, I have to spend an hour a day playing with my son, and that's a non-negotiable. Maybe it's, I have to be in bed by 10 p.m. and that is a non-negotiable. Whatever it is, and we all have different ones, it's important that you define your non-negotiables, because without them, days can get very chaotic. They can seem almost like meaningless. You kind of lose your sense of purpose and lose your sense of direction. But by having non-negotiables, by having things that keep us true to our own set of values, it helps keep us on the straight and narrow. It helps keep our sense of purpose, helps keep our sense of who we are as human beings. And I find it to be a very kind of safe space, a very kind of controlled space. It stops you from spiraling out of control if you have those non-negotiables. So again, we all have different ones. None of us should have the same non-negotiables, but maybe it's just 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5, whatever it is, write them down. These are the things that have to be in my day no matter what. Maybe it is, I have to train every day, otherwise I'm, mentally I'm just not in the right place. Maybe it is, I have to get up at 6 a.m. because if I don't get up at 6 a.m. I feel all out of sorts and my day kind of like falls apart. Define what they are and stick to them as much as you possibly can. You will be a happier person for it. Next point. Anything to add there, Brandon? Did I cover that?
No, I think we covered that one right there. It's, it helps you organize your day a lot better. Once you have those things like, hey,
the staples.
Almost like these are the things that they're going to happen. There's 2 or 3 of them, whether that's 30 minutes or even like 10 minutes and it takes up only 45 minutes of your day, or it takes up 3 or 4 hours. Like all the other shit at the end of the day is not as important as those non-negotiables for you as the individual. Yeah. And whether that is exercising, whether it's family time, or, pushing on to another entrepreneurial thing you're trying to push towards. Right. Like your day's going to be more set out. You're going to have more intention and purpose too. Right. With what you're trying to get done.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many people over the years I've read about, how many successful people were like, they trained every day. And of course, for myself, training is a non-negotiable. It has to be in there. Otherwise, Emily will tell you things get ugly quickly if I don't get to train. But over the years, like I said, I've known a lot of people like that. It was just a staple in their day because it put them in the right mindset, put them in the right mode. It grounded them. It's the grounding thing. I remember Henry Rollins talking about it, saying the same thing. It was like just something that grounds you in who you are and just sets your day up for success. Yeah. And without it, it's tough to stay, on target.
Absolutely. If you're trying to launch a business with Pharos, or any entrepreneurial thing, startup, and like you got to escape your own ego and get out to something that's going to demoralize your ego, get it in check. And that exercises.
And this kind of leads me to my next point, which is start your day with one positive action. The rest will follow. It's amazing what happens if we do start our day with something positive. We are much more likely to follow it with another positive. Mm-hmm. And the same is true on the other end of the spectrum. If we start the day with something negative, it's likely that negativity will continue. So something as simple as starting our day with a glass of water. I mentioned this on my Instagram the other day. It's the least thing you'll feel like when you first wake up, especially in winter. But it's the most thing you need is water when you first wake up, because you're dehydrated after the long night's sleep, and you need to hydrate in the morning. So, you come downstairs, you have your glass of water before you have your coffee, before you have anything else, and that one positive action will likely lead to more positive actions. Some people like to read a little in the morning. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just like a couple of pages or a chapter or something like that. It's better to read than it is to watch the news. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Having a staple thing that in the morning, it's in your plan, you're going to start with, and it's something positive. It's something that adds to your day rather than subtracts from your day. It doesn't raise your cortisol levels. It lowers your cortisol levels. It makes you feel, like you are off to a good start. It will likely cascade into a bunch of other positive things throughout the day. So always start your day with something positive. And examples again, a glass of water, reading something. It may be, the classic habit is to jump on social media when you first get up, jump on Instagram and check your
trading windows, stocks and cryptos, exactly.
All shit like that. And although that may be something you get to, don't make it your first thing. Make something else come first that is a more positive, that fills you with a more positive sense of life.
Yeah, my favorite is the morning walk. Like if I get a mile in, like that's a great
game changer.
Yes. Yeah. You get some vitamin D in there. You're 15 minutes right there on that walk. Mile's going to be 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And then you got me on doing at least 2 of those intensity walks. Yeah. Beginning and end of the day.
Yeah.
If you can't get cardio in, and it's keeping you lean, just game changer.
It's amazing how getting outside. One of the challenges we have in this challenge is getting outside more. Like, getting outside and being closer to nature. It's amazing how much better you feel when you spend more time outside. It's what we're meant to do. It just makes us feel more human.
Putting your feet in the grass, like touching the earth, is like little sensory thing that, like you said, it goes a long way. And what it comes down to, it's like people, even probably you and I, just like, it isn't that easy, but like starting your day with a positive thing actually cascades into more positive things. Yeah. It's like, you don't think it's that simple, but those are the simple things that are actually in your control. that you can do.
Do you follow that Liver King guy on Instagram?
Liver King, no, but that sounds like a great page to follow.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking hilarious.
Just all
that guy's,
meats, like organ meats.
The guy's kind of crazy. I mean, he's like raw livers and all that shit. He kind of crazy, but his like whole thing is like you have to spend X amount of time barefoot in the grass and on the soil to absorb, you know, the earth. You have to spend X amount of time in sunlight. You know, there's all these like primitive guidelines to a better life kind of thing. But he's also like this super jacked up growth hormone guy who's like giant beard. Like it's pretty funny. But
he's doing HGH and
yeah, for sure.
TRT. I mean,
for sure. But he makes some fun points, and he does it in a pretty hilarious way. Anyway,
I'm going to follow that page while we're on the phone.
Yeah, the Liver King. Find your pack is my next one, guys. Find your pack. Pack obviously for us means Pharos Athletic Club, but all I mean by that is find good people to be in your corner. I've known, it's weird, like I've known this on both sides. People who are close to you that will really help your challenge and really help your transformation, and then people that will derail it and sabotage it. So you have to make sure the people you are surrounding yourself with who are people who are adding to your day. They are offering you support. They are offering you inspiration. They are helping you get better every day, and they're not pulling you back. A big part of our community, kind of outside of the gym, are the peakers, and these are women from all over the states, but all over the globe actually. And I know for a fact that these ladies who do the challenge, you know, and they're part of our Pharos community, but they also have their own little community, and they all hold each other accountable, whether it's a supportive text, whether it's a hell yeah on an Instagram post, you know, whatever it is. It's just having people by your side that make you feel, you know, I'm not doing this alone. Like I have my people in my corner. I have shoulders I can cry on, or ears that will listen to me, or people that I can ask questions, or people that I can share concerns or share victories on whatever it is. It's vital that you have those people in your corner. I think one of the positive lessons we learned from quarantine and COVID was that we need people, we need society, we need social interaction, we need conversation. We can't exist as an island. We can't do it alone. We're not meant to do it alone. Humans have always been social creatures, and we have to find our people. We have to find people to be around that help us and like make us feel more complete and more involved.
Community is everything.
It's in our
DNA. Literally, we thrive on that, and we're used to it for 200,000 years of being human beings. We had community always.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because I was having a conversation earlier with a friend who is looking at buying property up here in Idlewild, and it's interesting that I think there's almost going to be more of a return to people wanting that kind of community feel outside of the city. I think it's very easy to get lost in the city. It can be although there's so many people, the kind of like weird juxtaposition of it is there's a lot of people, but it can be a very, very lonely place because you don't have the same sense of village connection that you have in smaller places. You know, I grew up with that smaller community, so it's very familiar to me. We have it up here in Idlewild. I didn't have it as much in LA, though of course I have a huge community at Pharos and the gym itself. But outside of it, like, you know, we didn't really know our neighbors and we didn't really know anybody else in our street kind of thing. So whereas here, very quickly, we know everybody.
Yeah, LA and New York are like that. They're very hard to find communities. I mean, you guys are the first gym I stumbled on when I moved to LA, and it was like, oh, I don't need to go to another gym. This is the one, right?
Right.
And your community is great there. But
it's a very powerful thing. It's a very important thing. And again, it's how we're meant to be. We're not meant to be, you know, isolated. We're not meant to be alone. So find good people. The old saying is you become who you hang around. So hang around with good folk and talk and converse and listen. And don't feel like you have to do any of this alone. Next point. don't let one mistake derail you. We kind of covered this already with the one positive action to start the day. If you make a mistake, it's okay. We all do. I'll give you an example. I started this challenge, and one of Emily's clients up here made us a pecan pie. And just brought it over. They're handmade pecan pie. And it was like day one of the challenge. I'm like, oh my God, like how do we do this? So anyway, of course, I'm going to have some bloody pecan pie because this guy made it for us. So, we had some pecan pie. We gave the rest to one of Wyatt's nannies and to get out of the house. And it was like, okay, we had it. It's done. Move on. Mm-hmm. We didn't let it okay, we fucked up. It's all over. It's like, okay, this happened. It's one thing. Move on, and don't worry about it. I see it time and time again. People beat themselves up so much about making a mistake or like eating something they shouldn't have eaten or having a slip of will, and they had a glass of wine or whatever it was. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a glass of wine. It's very important that you stay stable and you be realistic, and you're not reactionary. You're just sensible about things. It's like, okay, this happened. Move on. Tomorrow's another day. We start again, and I'll do it better tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a positive. Everything is a positive. I ate that. How do I feel about it? Okay, I don't feel great. I'll do better tomorrow. Rather than I made a mistake. Fuck it. I'm gonna make another one. Fuck it. I'm gonna make another one, and let it completely start the fall, as it were. So yeah, if you do make a mistake, please do not worry about it. Just draw a line under it and always just move on, and don't let it beat you up. Next one, patterns and rituals that support your goals. Habit. That's what I'm talking about here. Once you get in the habit of doing things, it will become very easy for you to continue doing them. I can't tell you over the years how many times I've spoken to people and they say to me, I can't go to the gym in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Well, when else can you go to the gym? I can't, because I work all day and then I have my kids and stuff. So the only time you can go to the gym is the morning. Yep. Okay. We have to go to the gym in the morning. This is it. There's no other way. Once they start doing it, suddenly it's not a big deal anymore. They get up earlier, they get out of bed, they get to the gym, they feel 100 times better, and then it becomes a habit. Mm-hmm. And once it becomes a habit, their lives are changed. So you have to develop these good habits. You have to have these patterns in your day that, again, set you up for continued success. They're not kind of like flash in the pan successes. Like doing one great workout a week doesn't really make a difference. Let me rephrase that. Doing one like world-changing, like life-changing, amazing workout a week is not as good as doing 6 pretty good workouts a week. Yeah, but because what is life-changing at the end of? Did you get your 1 rep max in, and so how much output did you actually use, or did you do some crazy EMOM that you wanted to accomplish? That one isn't going to compare. It's not going to move the needle. It's not going to move the needle. What moves the needle is consistency. It's consistent, good habit, consistent, good ritual, and also rituals. It can be things to look forward to. And I do this when I do challenges. I have the chocolate casein in the evening. Sometimes I have this kind of keto cereal thing that I sometimes use because it gives me the sensation of a treat, mm-hmm. but it's a treat that's not bad for you. So it's like things in your day that's a little ritual that keep you on track. Another thing is I set my coffee up in the evening so that I know when I wake up, after I have my glass of water, of course. Of course. My coffee is ready for me to start my day. So if I'm traveling to LA, it's okay, I have my water, I have my coffee, we get the car loaded, and we start the drive. We have things that we listen to in the drive to stimulate our brains, podcasts and stuff, and mm-hmm. to make us think about things. Or we have and we'll be there the emails start early, or the discussions start early about things that may be going on with the business, and then we get to work and the day starts. But these are all like, this is something we do. It's a ritual. Or days that I'm not going to LA, I'll set my alarm early. There'll be water, there'll be coffee. Then I'll start programming, and it's like, that's my ritual. That's what keeps me, going. It keeps me stabilized. I know then I'm going to have my clients, and then I'm going to work out, and the day is very, very similar day to day. I think we are a lot better when we have routine. So, and that with a routine, obviously, most days look pretty similar, and I know most guys that are very consistent at the gym. I'll use the 6 a.m. crew as an example. I know they're there every morning at 6 a.m. That's how they start their day. Then they grab a bite, they share, and they go to work. And that's their morning ritual. That's their habit. That's what happens. And that's just something they do. It's not even a decision-making process anymore. It's just habit. It's just how their day begins. So once we develop these good rituals and these good habits, it stops being something we have to force ourselves to do. It's just something we do.
Yeah, I think I've gotten into my best sleeping habit at 32, but now where it's like, okay, it's 10 o'clock, I just get tired because I'm up at 7.
Right.
I'm getting that workout in, somewhere throughout the day, but it's, still on a weekend you go out, you can stay out late, but you got developed enough that 10 p.m. comes, like I'm fighting just to get to 10. Like I got to get to bed.
Yeah.
I want to get a full day in tomorrow, But again, it goes to having those goals and those things you're looking forward to, because accomplishments feels great.
And by the way, all the parents that are listening out there, like I know, like I get it. Like I want to have an evening ritual. I want to have an evening pattern. It is so hard with Wyatt right now. He just refuses to go to bed.
It's terrible twos, man.
Oh my God. It is from 7 p.m. onwards. It is just one long mission to try and get him to go to sleep. We're trying to do better with it. We're trying to get into a good habit with it, but it's so hard. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I get it. If you're a parent, everything I'm talking about is like, you go into these things with the best of intentions. Like I want to have a routine with him, and I want it to be a consistent thing, but it's very, very difficult because they're not playing by the rules. They don't give a fuck about my plans. Last one. Visualize your day before it happens. I think visualization can be very, very powerful and very helpful. You could visualize the night before how the next day looks, or maybe you visualize first thing in the morning. But it is really like planning out your day before it happens, rather than just falling in from moment to moment. It's closing your eyes and thinking, okay, this is how my day looks, and it's like, you're not just saying this is going to happen, you are visualizing yourself in those moments. So you're visualizing yourself in the gym, or you're visualizing yourself with your family, or you're visualizing yourself at work, whatever it is. You're visually planning out your day in your mind, almost like a daydream. And I find that help. And also, sometimes in terms of reflection, like closing your eyes and thinking, okay, let me kind of go through the day, what happened, and reliving it a little bit to kind of absorb it and reflect on it and note it down. We're doing journaling during the Limitless challenge, and people are being reflective and noting down what happened that day, how it made them feel, like successes, failures, all that kind of stuff. And I think visualizing both, how you want a day to look, and then also visualizing how the day went and thinking about those things can be super beneficial for the future, because again, we learn from things. We learn from our experiences. Again, did your visualization pan out the way that you expected it to? And if not, why not? And can it be better the next day?
That's too zoomed in right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you visualize your visualization going this way? There's
a lot of visualization.
That's funny. But it's it's made me a better person, and I even do it in performance and sports. It's like, for sure, how am I going to do this on a playing field, going through the motions?
That's the big one. People always talk about visualization in sports, and that was a big way to overcome kind of anxiety. And I remember, which footballer was it? When I say football, I'm talking about soccer player. I'm talking about penalty taking, and went to a
British or which
British.
Which team?
I think it was Steven Gerrard.
Okay.
I think it was Steven Gerrard. Anyway, he's talking about, you know, going to a shrink, going to a, you know, a mindset coach, and basically them saying that, you know, visualization is a big part of the process. So before you take that penalty, you are visualizing exactly where the ball's going. You're visualizing how it feels. You're visualizing the crowd. You're seeing it all before it happens, and then you're just almost like reenacting that visualization. And then it becomes a lot easier to experience.
Absolutely. If it comes down to, like you said, that's the preparation. Like, where's this guy potentially going to go? And if he makes this jab here, what's that counter I'm going to do? So that way you get to that field, you got to think in a split second like moment, kind of got the 3-4 ideas you got right there ready to take when you're actually there. So yeah, that's big.
Well, that reminds me of another point, is to expect failure. What I mean by that is, if we expect some failures, we don't get derailed by them. Like, we can't expect everything to be perfect all of the time. Bad shit always happens, no matter what. No matter how hard we prepare, no matter everything we try and put in place to help ourselves, bad shit always happens, and we should expect it to happen. We should be prepared for it, and we should deal with it. We should deal with it rationally. We shouldn't be reactive to everything. You know, especially in these times we live in sensitive times. We live in times where people may react to things in a way that you didn't expect them to react, or situations may arise that you didn't expect, or maybe you did expect, but it happened in the way that you didn't expect it to happen. And we need to be able to, like I said, rationally deal with the problems that arise. But if we are of a mindset where we are ready to deal with problems and ready to accept that problems will come, and accept that, you know, our lives are not perfect and our days are not perfect, and I think we are much then better prepared to deal with those situations. It's like it's being prepared in a way that expects failure and expects bad things to happen.
Yeah, especially when everybody has the right answer and no one has the wrong answer these days. Right. So you got to have empathy. You got to listen to someone's idea, which is always right and always the right way, and let them explain themselves and be comforting and just show empathy to people.
Yeah, and listen. Just listen.
Air it out.
Yeah, I think different topic kind of, but I think we are in a time where people are so hell bent on their own version of truth that they don't want to listen to anybody else's, and they won't accept any other truth than the truth that they know, or the truth that they believe, or the truth that their people believe. And it's kind of like, if we just took the time to listen, maybe consider, look at other points of view, look at other ideas, other options, you know, there's always another version of the truth.
Let them air their ideas out. Let them actually see if that idea is such a good idea, if they can explain it to you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that is it for today. I hope you guys had a good first week of your challenge. Like I said, if mistakes happen, don't worry. Don't let things derail you. Stay on course. It is all a learning lesson. Every day is an opportunity to get better than the day before. Every week is an opportunity to get better than the week before. And reach out to your coaches, reach out to your peers, reach out to me, reach out to Emily, and we are here to help. And we hope you're having a great time, and we are here for you. And yeah, we wish you the best as the weeks continue. So stay on course. Thank you, Brandon, for coming up to the mountain again.
Pleasure to get the first show of 2022.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's going to be a good year. I know it's going to be a strong year. Okay, guys, thank you so much. If you are not already a member of the gym, of course, we are now fully open and busier than ever at 1316 Glendale Blvd. You can find us on Instagram at Pharos Echo Park or at Pharos Mountain Lodge up here. And come see us soon. Until then, take care.